It's me, Jessica Viva, and today I'm doing a kind of different type of video. I've had a lot of messages and DMs and whatevers, and they were asking me how to collect albums, photo cards, merchandise, or the best way to collect and stuff like that. And I've been collecting merch and photo cards for quite a few years now, since 2012 I think, so I've been doing this for quite a few years, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. I hope that doesn't sound arrogant. So without further ado, I'm just going to address the frequently asked questions or tips that I think are the best for collecting. So here I've made a little list so you can skip to whichever part you're interested in the most, or if you just want to watch the full video, let's go. How do I start my collection? So I'm kind of sick of using stock images, so I'm just going to talk to you guys face to face. Before you start collecting, you should really ask yourself, do you really want to do this? Because you are not less of a fan if you don't collect. It's just a hobby, and it's not something that should be taken as seriously as some people take it. Some people act like it's their whole life, and I know collecting is a big part of my life, but it's not my life, if you understand what I mean. So think to yourself before you actually start collecting it, if it's something you really want to do, because it should never feel like a chore or something that you have to do just because you're a fan. You're not any less of a fan if you don't collect, so I'm just saying that now. But if you do decide that you really want to collect and you're really passionate about collecting or whatever, then I would have a look at your faves or whoever you're going to collect. Just the chronography, can't say that word, and just have a general idea of how many albums they have, or what merchandise they've released. There's plenty of list websites for most groups of all of the albums they've released and all the merchandise they've released. It's not really hard to find. But it might be a bit harder to find for smaller groups, but for bigger groups, I'm sure, I don't want to generalize, but I'm sure that there will be a list somewhere of what there is that you can collect. Should I collect in chronological order? So I can totally understand why people would want to collect in chronological order, but for some groups, older groups, it's just a bit harder. For example, EXO, Girls' Generation, SHINee. I could say BTS. I know they debuted in 2013, but I don't collect them. But I know that they do have albums from 2013, I think. Don't shoot me if I have got that wrong. But they do have older albums as well as EXO and stuff. So if you're collecting an older group, I would suggest that you could just get what you can, because some albums like Mama, they're a bit harder to find because they're out of press. So what I do is I actually make lists and check off all the things that I've got, and when I've got them, I just put them in chronological order, but I don't collect in chronological order, if that makes sense. So this is how I organize my shit. I've got a Team Rocket sticker that I stole from a kids magazine because I'm a fucking baddie, and here is my list of how I collect. So obviously I've got albums to comeback promotional goods. We're not quite there yet with those, and then we've got concert merch and photo cards there. I always think it's a really good idea to have lists, just because you know what you're doing, you know what you're looking for, so you're not in this grey area of what do I need to get. It's really satisfying ticking stuff off, so I would really recommend doing a list. And obviously you don't have to go in as much as I do. I just want a massive collection because I'm a freak. But obviously people just have different levels of what they want to collect. Some people just want to collect albums, some people want to collect photo cards. I want fucking everything because I'm greedy and annoying. So it's just about finding about what you want and not what you think people will want you to collect because of expectations. Where should I buy from? There are so many places where you can buy photo cards, albums, and all of that jazz. But I'm going to go through the pros and cons of all the ones that I've personally used, or what I think about other ones. So there's a lot of skepticism with eBay. It's probably the biggest retailer for everything. And I usually just buy from the same three sellers because I know that they have actual stores in Korea, so whatever album I purchase, it'll count towards charts and it'll go towards the artists. So that's why I buy from the same three sellers, which I will link down below so you guys can know which free sellers I find trustworthy. The thing with eBay is you always have to look at the feedback of the seller, because if I ever buy from another seller for whatever reason, I always just look at the feedback first. If they have a bunch of negative feedback, then it's I always don't really mind if they have like one thing that's negative feedback, because sometimes things get lost in the mail or stuff like that. So I don't really mind if there's like one piece of negative feedback. The only thing I would worry about is if there's loads of negative feedbacks, because that's when you know, okay, something might be up, I shouldn't trust this seller, stuff like that. So I put those 3 in the same one. It's basically because I thought my feedback was pretty much the same for all 3. Shipping can be a little bit expensive, but it's, what can you expect if the albums are a little bit heavier? And I've never really had any problems with them. I know most people haven't had problems with them. Like I said, mail can get lost, but usually I think they do refunds. I'm not 100% sure because I've never lost my mail with them. All of your purchases will go towards like charts and will go towards the artists. So those 3 stores, they're pretty much good. If you want to pay for shipping, that's fine. If you don't want to pay for shipping, I would go to eBay and go to the sellers that I recommended down below. Sellers that I recommended, if you're watching this, you know, sponsor me. I need money to fund my collection, please. So there are 2 main like social medias for like collecting albums and stuff, which is Facebook and Instagram. And I will be talking more about Instagram in a bit, but I'm just going for an overall review at the moment. There are quite a few pros and cons to buying through social media. Firstly, it would be you don't know if the seller is reliable, and secondly, it wouldn't really be going towards any like official charts or anything. It would be going towards that seller's pocket. So that would be the bad thing, but the good things are about buying through social media is that you might get it for a cheaper price, and you might be able to find stuff that wouldn't usually be on a K-pop store. This brings me through to my next part of this video, which is a quick rundown of buying and selling and trading on social media. I'm gonna start here on Facebook. As you can see, there are so many groups that are like K-pop buy, sell, trade, K-pop, blah, 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 blah. There's so many that you can join. I would personally recommend joining groups with more people in it. Though there might be more posts, there's more chance that people are selling what you are looking for or looking to buy what you are wanting to sell, if I'm making sense. So I've made an example here of how you would usually post in a buying, selling / trading group. There's no need to overcomplicate a title, so you just plainly put what groups you're selling and if you're wanting to trade or sell, or if you're looking for. In this instance, I put that I'm trading or selling. As you can see, the price is like so expensive, but obviously this isn't an accurate price. Most people just usually do this because they have to fill out a price and they don't have the same prices for all of their photo cards. So they just do that, and then you can comment down below on the post, or you can list on the description how much you're selling or trading these cards for. So in the description here, I just plainly said I'm looking to sell or trade these cards. And some people say their wish list on their description, and some people put it as a second picture. It's really up to you. I personally already had a wish list picture, so I just put that as my second picture. As you can actually see that I put on the please don't offer me cards that aren't on the list, because I will always get this if I post that I am looking for, say, these certain Taeyeon cards. There will always be like at least 5 people commenting saying, do you need these cards, even though I didn't say I needed them. So it's always good to add that just so people don't bother you. Do you know what I'm saying? And here I've just attached the pictures. Obviously the one on the left are the cards I'm selling, and the ones on the right are the ones that I'm looking for. Obviously it doesn't need to be complicated, you just need to see the cards fine. And what I actually forgot to include on those pictures was actually like a little written piece of paper with my name on it. And this is just to show that you're not a scammer, you're not a fake, you're not stealing people's pictures, just because there are people who like steal pictures to try and like scam people from photo cards and stuff. It's pretty simple. If you're just looking to buy cards, you would just say want to buy Taeyeon cards, for example. Say please DM me if you're selling these cards in the caption, and either post in your bio what cards you want or post a picture like I did. So Instagram is quite different to Facebook. Most people actually make a completely separate account just for selling, trading or buying. So I am using my own as an example just to walk you through, but most accounts usually format like this, though there are a few different ones obviously, because not everyone's the same. So as you can see, there's a story highlight there that says feedback, and most sellers do this to prove that they are a reliable seller and that people have bought from them and that their things have arrived. So as you guys can see, I've posted all the cards that I'm selling. I usually post every separate member as one post, but I also did a mass list, and I'm going to show you what you usually put. Now, obviously, you want to put loads of hashtags so potential buyers or traders will want to buy or trade from you. So I usually put every single member of the group in the hashtag, and that it's a K-pop photo card trade and stuff like that. Also, when you post these kind of things, don't be that fucking dickhead who tags, say, like, I don't know, EXO photo card on like a post where there's no EXO photo cards on it. It wastes people's time and it's annoying. As you can see here, I put a little bit of text on my photo saying I want to sell or trade these cards. I do this because there are a lot of collection accounts on Instagram. So just to save any like potential buyers from confusion, it's just to show them that you are trading and selling. So if you haven't figured it out, you use hashtags to look for photo cards. Now you can do a general look by just searching up Kpop photo card or Kpop photo card sale. And it does help to click on recent because top posts and things are really popular and they might have sold already. So I always look on recent. But then you'll just see like all of these posts of like what people are selling and stuff like that. And I know I've been talking about photo cards a lot, but you can pretty much do the same for albums and find what you're looking for. Now, obviously, if you don't want to do a general search, you can just search up group name and then photo card after it, and you'll have like loads of sell posts of that group specifically. For an example here, Girls' Generation, if you just put in SNSD photo card in the hashtags, then loads of people who are selling Girls' Generation photo cards will come up. So if you're looking to buy photo cards, you can usually put a wish list on your account with the said hashtags of the group or whatever, and there will be like sellers or traders messaging you saying, oh hey, I have this card I saw on your wish list. So that's really helpful. So next, I'm going to give you guys a quick run through of general pricings. I can't speak for every group, but I'm going to give you just guys a vague idea. Standard Korean cards that were made from about 2016 to 2018 should cost $6 or $5 at the cheapest to about $8 or $9. Some older cards, for example Mama, Baekhyun A, can cost up to like $70 just because it's very rare now as they are out of print and there wasn't that many printed in the first place. So they can be sold for quite a lot of money. Now, I don't collect that many groups, but I've always had such a bad experience with collecting Japanese cards because A, I think they're limited edition, and B, the albums themselves are actually so much more than Korean albums. So don't be surprised if you see that a Japanese card can cost up to like $60. Okay, no tea, no shade, no pink lemonade. But obviously some members are more popular than others, so more people will want that certain member's cards. And that's why some members can cost more than others. Now I'm going to compare Taeyeon and Sunny from Girls' Generation. Now before any of you attack me, I'm not saying Sunny doesn't have any fans, but obviously Taeyeon has more fans, and that's why Taeyeon's card costs more than others. Yes, it's unfair, but that's just how life is. And Taeyeon has more fans, so more people want our cards, that's why they're more expensive. And same goes for probably other members of groups. There are cards that aren't album cards, that are promotional cards, or for a lack of a better word, non-album cards. I'm not going to talk about prices for those just because all of these different groups have different prices for these cards because of age, rarity and stuff like that, so it would just be too hard to generalize. So before you buy a signed album, always check where you're buying it from. If you're buying it from M-Wave, then that's reliable. But if you're buying it from a Facebook seller or Instagram seller or eBay seller, I would ask for proof of like them signing it because it could just be a fake signature, you know? It's easy to fucking plagiarize. So if it's not from M-Wave, always be skeptical. So obviously this is a really long video. It's not what I usually do, but I thought it would help because I've had a lot of people asking me for advice on this kind of thing. And one thing I forgot to include was, don't buy from Kpop. Please like, comment and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. And now I'm gonna roll all the bad reviews of Kpop because I hate them and I got scammed.